The South African automotive industry is facing another major setback as the United States has imposed a 25% import tariff on cars and key vehicle parts. This move, signed into effect by President Donald Trump on the 26th of March, 2025, under Section 232 of the U.S. Trade Expansion Act of 1962, is intended to protect the American automobile industry. The White House argues that excessive vehicle and parts imports pose a critical threat to U.S. national security, endangering its domestic industrial base and supply chains. In 1985, American-owned facilities in the U.S. manufactured 11 million automobiles, representing 97% of total domestic production, the White House stated. In 2024, Americans bought 16 million cars, SUVs, and light trucks, with 50% being imports. Of the 8 million vehicles assembled in the US, only *50% of their content is truly American-made. The Trump administration insists that these changes have devastated local automotive manufacturing jobs, which declined by 34% from 839,300 in 2000 to 553,300 in 2024. However, car manufacturers and analysts warn that the tariffs could increase vehicle prices for American consumers, including those buying locally assembled cars. South Africa's automotive industry at risk. The tariff poses a serious challenge to South Africa's automotive exports, as it could override trade protections under the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA. South Africa's automotive and food and beverage sectors are among the biggest beneficiaries of this trade agreement. The US is South Africa's third-largest export market, with 25,553 of the 390,884 vehicles exported in 2024, around 6.5% of total exports, headed there. Additionally, South Africa exports key vehicle components to the US, which will also be affected by the tariff. Major South African-based automakers affected include Mercedes-Benz East London plant exports left-hand drive models to the US. BMW plan to start exporting the new X3 models to the US in 2026. NAAMSA, the industry body representing car manufacturers in South Africa, is engaging government policymakers to protect AGOA benefits and explore alternative trade agreements. The South African automotive industry has built a strong export relationship with the US, particularly in supplying light vehicles and components, said NAAMSA chief economist Paulina Mamagobo. Any potential disruption to trade flows will require close collaboration between industry and government to ensure South Africa's continued competitiveness in global automotive manufacturing. Interestingly, South Africa itself imposes a 25% import duty on non-EU vehicles to protect local manufacturing. For the European Union, a reciprocal 18% tariff applies. The tariff is just one of several major challenges currently facing the South African car industry. Other pressing issues include local steel shortages. The closure of ArcelorMittal's Newcastle and Vereeniging mills will disrupt the supply of essential steel components used in vehicle production. The shutdown is due to rising electricity costs, a surge in cheaper steel imports, unreliable rail transport, government scrap metal subsidies favoring smaller companies. The shutdowns will affect thousands of jobs and increase production costs for automakers. While the Industrial Development Corporation, IDC, is considering taking control of ArcelorMittal South Africa, automakers warn that delays could severely impact vehicle assembly operations. 2. Rising competition from India and China. South African-made cars face growing competition from Indian and Chinese brands, which are capturing significant market share. Indian cars dominate the budget segment. Chinese brands are challenging German automakers, 3 of which have South African production plants. This competition, coupled with declining demand for locally made cars, has caused production to drop 19.4% from 640,000 units in 2019 to 515,712 in 2024. 3. Slow transition to new energy vehicles, NEVs. Many of South Africa's major export markets, including the European Union, plan to ban fuel-powered cars within the next decade. Yet, no South African-based automaker currently produces fully electric vehicles, EVs. Government tax incentives to encourage NEV production will only take effect in 2026, putting South African manufacturers behind international competitors. The US import tariff is another heavy blow to South Africa's struggling automotive sector, which is already battling steel shortages, rising foreign competition, and a slow transition to EVs. With export revenue and thousands of jobs at stake, South African automakers and policymakers must act swiftly to secure alternative trade agreements and support local industry resilience. If you made it this far in the video, please consider liking and subscribing to receive more interesting news.